Competitors in Extemp should be aware of two newer things for the 2020 National Tournament. The first one is the new internet rules for extemporaneous speaking that can be found in the 2020 Online National Tournament Rules Manual. These rules allow you to access the internet during prep in order to do research, access files. You still cannot do things like use pre-prepared notes or outlines, but make sure that you give these new rules a read so you know what is permitted at this year's tournament. The second thing that is a little bit newer is that you will need to pay special attention to your speaking order in the national tournament. To see your speaking order, you can log into tabroom.com and see your round assignments, or you can look at the public schematics. In the competition site, competition.speechanddebate.org, there's a handy link to tabroom.com here. You can click on the Pairings tab to see public schematics. Choose IX or USX from the drop-down here. I'm going to show you a sample round. You'll be able to choose the round in question and then look for your code on the list. If you find your code and you see a number 3 in front of your code, that means you're the third speaker in that round. If you see a number 5 in front of your code, you're the 5th speaker in that round, and so on. It's important to know your speaker order because this will determine what prep room you go to draw. So in the competition site, remember students in Extemp should be in their prep room 30 minutes prior to draw start time. So you will go to Wings, either USX or IX, and you will see a series of prep rooms that look like this. So we'll say USX Speaker 1 Prep, USX Speaker 2 Prep, Speaker 3 Prep, Speaker 4 Prep, and so on. Your speaker order on the schematic will determine which prep room you go to. So if you are the 6th speaker in the round, you will go to USX Speaker 6 Prep or IX Speaker 6 Prep. So please make sure that you are paying special attention to your speaker order so that you go to the correct prep room and can start draw on time. Now when you get into your prep room, you'll click enter under the appropriate one 30 minutes prior to draw start time. Remember you will use the proper naming convention listed at the top here to write your code, your name, your pronouns if you feel comfortable doing so, certify you're not a robot, join. You can select whether you'd like to join audio by computer or phone call. Make sure that your microphone and camera are working, remembering to check the lock button and the video icon if not. And then in that 30-minute window prior to draw, you will be talked to by your proctors about testing your technology, making sure you know what's going on and are ready to go. At draw start time, you will see an automatic system show up here above the Zoom window in the browser. So if you're using the app, you will need to make sure that you mute yourself so that there's not any kind of echo in the browser. And then also keep the browser window open because this is where you will see eventually your question to pick and then finally your countdown timer on your prep time. So what this will look like, again, it will be above the Zoom window within the browser, so you can either stay in the browser here in the window or you can join via Zoom app, but you'll still need to have the browser open so that you can see the prep timer. What it will look like before it is time for you to pick a question and begin prepping is a countdown until draw time. So it'll tell you how much time you have left until you draw, and it will tell you to wait. Now, when it is time to draw, you will see 3 questions appear on the screen like so. You can see how long you have to draw, which is 2 minutes. So you have 2 minutes to make a selection between these 3 choices. Once you've made your choice, you will click choose. And as soon as you've chosen a question, you can begin prepping. Now after these 2 minutes of draw time are up, you will see that prep is running and the 30-minute timer will begin counting down. It will say draw is complete. It will list the question that you've chosen here, and you will prep in the room with your camera on and your microphone muted. You should have your speakers up in case the proctor tries to speak to you during this time. But for the most part, this should be silent prep for 30 minutes. Now, if for whatever reason you are late to the prep room, so you missed draw time, that still means that the prep timer in your room will be counting down, but you will have the ability to choose your question throughout. So if you show up 10 minutes late to draw, you can still draw your question, but you will only have 20 minutes left on the prep timer. At the end of prep, you will see your timer go to 0. You will hear the proctor announce that prep has ended and you should report to your competition room. It's important, remember you'll be in here in the speaker one or the speaker prep room that corresponds to your speaker position. It's important that you leave this room, the prep room, before you go to your competition room, because the proctors will be checking that you are gone from this room and assume that you leaving means that you are on your way to your competition room. So if you are a student who is using 2 different devices to prep and to speak, which is fine, make sure that before you go to your second device to go to your competition room and begin speaking, you exit out of this tab, or you go back to a different tab so that you're no longer within this room, or click leave meeting. So that indicates to the proctor that you're no longer there. Then you can either from this page go to Wings, USX, and find your competition room that's listed on the schematic, or of course if you have another device you can do that as well. We do ask that when you go to your competition room and click enter, you'll go through the same process. Make sure that you are entering silently, just in case there is a little bit of a delay in the round and there's a speaker still speaking before you. Make sure that you wait a couple seconds before turning on your microphone and camera and speaking to the judges to make sure that the speaker who has gone before you has finished their speech. That's about it. You will have a chance to practice this whole process of finding your speaker position, going to the appropriate prep room under Wings, going into the prep room, selecting your question, watching the countdown clock, and then going to your competition room for round 0, which begins at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning, which is when speech starts. Now, 10 a.m. round start time means that it is a 9:30 draw start time, which means that all students in Extemp should be in the appropriate prep room at 9 a.m. Central Time on Wednesday morning. So make sure you are ready to go at that time.